Hey everybody, Jake here from the Brave and the Boys. You might be seeing this on Organic Price Books channel, or you might be seeing it on our channel. So I wanted to give a little greeting in case this is your first video with me. So my name is Jake. I have a co-host named Jordan, and together we are the hosts of the Brave and the Boys show. So we do book reviews, overviews, reading lists, you know, all kinds of crazy fun stuff. We love comics, we're huge fans, we're dorks, and we just love having a hobby that we can share together. So I'm very excited to do this. So this is my first official overview for Organic Price Books. And I have the honor of overviewing the absolute edition of one of my all-time favorite stories, Infinite Crisis. Out of every Crisis DC has done, it's my favorite and one that everyone should collect. Even if you own it in, say, a trade paperback or an omnibus, it's still worth getting in the absolute. So we're gonna jump into the build quality, the extras, look at that oversized, beautiful artwork. And I wanna say, if you do wanna pick up the absolute or the omnibus, you can find them both in stock on Organic Price Books. You can use my code Braveboys to save $2, or if you're buying both of them and a third book, you can use my code Braveboyssit to save 5%. And I just wanna say that this is an honor. Like, this feels like crazy that I'm finally having a channel big enough that JP could provide us a copy for review. And honestly, like, I feel like I've made it. So this is just so fun. I can't wait to dive in and show you guys what makes this book so special.
Deep within a bleak and dismal swamp, hidden beneath its murky waters, lies the headquarters of the most sinister villains of all time, the Legion of Doom.
If you were to only read one book before you read Infinite Crisis, kind of the prerequisite everyone should go with, and that's Crisis on Infinite Earths. You can get this in a trade paperback, a deluxe. I think the absolute is out of print, but I will say it is kind of required reading because it sets the tone. So it really is nice to see how the characters end up in this book and how that sets the tone for where characters begin in this book. So really important. There are other books that kind of set the tone, things like Tower of Babel, Identity Crisis, though sometimes Identity Crisis can be a little yucky. I don't really like to recommend it. So all I'm going to say, the only required reading I'm going to give you before Infinite Crisis is Crisis on Infinite Earths. Now we're going to jump into the differences between the omnibus and the absolute, and then we're going to bust open the absolute and show you guys the gorgeous art and amazing extras and tell you why I love this book in the absolute format so much. I don't want to give any spoilers for Infinite Crisis or Crisis on Infinite Earths, even though these books are a little bit older, but I do think it's important to tell you kind of what makes a crisis so special. A crisis is when multiple realities come together and DC Comics are fundamentally changed moving forward. So all I'll say, the only spoiler I'll give about Crisis on Infinite Earths is that at the time there were tons of realities. At the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, everything was reduced down to one reality, but maybe a few stragglers survive. And that's going to pick up directly in Infinite Crisis. So I'm not going to give any more spoilers to the story other than this is Geoff Johns' magnum opus. It's kind of sets the tone for everything he believes about DC Comics, the power of comics in general, and what he thinks about the state of DC. So it is a meta commentary about, should DC characters be optimistic or dark? What should a hero be? It tackles amazing themes, and trust me, you gotta get it in the absolute format. So let's dive into the pros and cons of these two formats you can choose from and kind of what makes this so special. So this is going to contain all the lead-ins, all the things that set the tone, all the tie-ins, all the crossovers, and as event omnis go, this is probably my favorite. However, this is the largest format, and what I love is this is just the full storyline uninterrupted. This would have a few issues of Infinite Crisis, and then it would be one of the spin-off stories, and I found myself, as much as I loved the overall context, it kind of interrupted the flow of the story. So if you want the largest format to look at the gorgeous artwork of this amazing story with the amazing slipcase, the ribbon, enhanced extras, and an uninterrupted story, the absolute is the way to go. Even though they're different, I don't think you have to collect one or the other. I love having the option to read the overarching story. I also love the ability to say, you know what, I'm really hankering for some Infinite Crisis, but I don't want to read an omnibus that's thicker than a Snickers, you know? So now that we've compared the differences, I want to jump in and show you guys the gorgeous artwork and what I think about the overall story. Now this will be spoiler free, so you can jump in. I'm not going to show you guys anything too crazy. You have to read this story and see for yourself what makes it so universe shattering. Here you can see the amazing art on the slipcase. You get some of my favorite characters like the Spectre and Power Girl, and I just love it so much. Let's flip through. I'll show you guys the back side of the slipcase before we jump into the art. Here you get to see it's like multiple Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, and just, I mean, this just looks like, I mean, this doesn't make you want to read it. Like, I don't know what will. This is amazing. Excited to jump in now and show you guys the artwork. Here's the cover, which is so iconic. You get the Trinity, Wonder Woman, Superman, Batman, and then some other cool villains. Let's jump in. One of the things about absolutes that are so striking is just how oversized the art are. Comparing it to a regular issue or even an omnibus, it's a massive difference. So this is going to jump it directly into the Infinite Crisis storyline. So, I mean, it's hard to not do spoilers, and this whole thing is a spoiler. But basically, there's these really shocking, dark things that have happened in the DC universe leading up into this. And the very nature of what a hero should do is put into question. And a lot of things that have been building up for a while come to fruition. And it's just, I mean, kind of like the table is set in such a way that, you know, the universe is ripe for change. So a lot of this had to do with the fact that for a while, DC Comics had been so dark and gritty. I think after Watchmen and Dark Knight Returns, you know, DC was going really dark and gritty. But, you know, they don't have to be. There's what makes someone a hero, and, you know, it's okay to be good and honest and, you know, really cool. Oh, God, I just love the art of this. I mean, like the motion of the way she has that blade. And it's just really cool. So you get to see basically there's these characters watching everything unfold, and you get to see their comments, and it's kind of just like the reader talking, you know, about how, you know, what's going on with the world, why are these heroes acting this way, and you get to see cool couple variations of some classic characters. Don't want to give too much into spoilers, but it's one of those things where if you've been reading for a while, you're rewarded, but it's also designed so that a new reader can jump in and enjoy. But it just brings together a lot of what makes DC great. I love it. Like Batman, you know, for a while had just been so mistrusting and so dark and brooding, and it's just really interesting. You know, all the characters get times to shine. I don't want to talk too much about what's going on, but you got some amazing characters. There's Superboy Prime, who I love. Alexander Luthor is a really cool character. So some really cool characters. I love Connor Kent. Ever since I watched the Young Justice TV series, I was a huge fan, and he gets some amazing moments to shine. The fact that, like, you get to see, like, an entire army go up against one person, you know, like, he's that strong, is just awesome. And it sets the tone moving forward for, like, the next 10 plus years of DC storytelling. This was awesome. I mean, this was a little before when I was collecting, but I remember I would watch YouTube videos of people talking about these stories, and now I get to own it in an oversized format. Like, a format this prestige is just such an honor. So what I like about the Absolute is here it's going to talk about the different storylines that you do get in the Omnibus. So if you don't want to read the full Omnibus, you get a little summary, and all of these set tones. All this information is really good. You get to see a lot of their thoughts going into it. Here's the proposal of what Geoff Johns wanted to do with Infinite Crisis, who the heroes were, who the antagonists were, you know, the questions that he's answering, kind of his breakdowns of each issue. It's so cool when you read this stuff because you get to see all the planning. Like, you just take for granted that every little thing was planned. Here you get to see some sketches, some uninked artwork for some of those shocking moments. So you get some scripts. This thing of Nightwing and all the OMACs is just such an iconic scene. Ahead a little bit. Just the Spectre being badass. A lot of cool extras. You're not going to get these extras in the Omnibus. I mean, the thing about a Absolute is they can just cram in every extra you've ever wanted. I mean, here you get full-on breakdowns of it. So it's, if you really want to dive into the behind the scenes of the storyline, the Absolute is the way to go. This is just like one of the most iconic scenes in Infinite Crisis, and to see it, you know, before it was inked and colored, you just, such gorgeous artwork. It's kind of cool. You get to see some pencil roughs from Phil Jimenez. I'm in awe of comic book artists. The way they're able to capture entire universes in their drawings. Like, I can barely draw a stick figure. Alternate pages. Yeah, they got some really cool extras in this book. I've never dived into any of these. I'm excited to actually, like, take some time because I've read this story countless times, but a lot of these are things that I've never read before. Just some gorgeous artwork right here. You know what? I actually think I've quadruple dipped because I have Infinite Crisis in single issues. I have the trade paperback, I have the Omnibus, and now I have the Absolute. So, you know, it takes a while to quadruple dip, but I've done it. I love this story. You guys gotta give this story. You guys gotta check this story out. And honestly, treat yourself. See it in the Absolute. It's like, it just makes the art just so much more iconic. And that's it, guys. Let's jump into my conclusions. And there you have it, folks. That's Infinite Crisis in a nutshell. I hope this video inspired you guys to check out this story. It's amazing, very near and dear to my heart, and I think it's just a love letter to a universe that I care about so deeply. I'm very honored to own this book in the Absolute format. My goal of collecting every DC Crisis in Absolute is one step closer. I only need Final Crisis. It's the last one, so I'm hoping that comes back in print, or I can harpoon a whale someday. But I just want to thank JP so much for sponsoring this video and providing me a copy of this book for this overview. I want to say thank you so much for letting us do an overview on your channel. This was a huge honor. We love your website. We love your channel. And I just want to say thank you. If you are checking this out on Organic Price Books channel, go to our channel, The Brave and the Boys, and give us a like, comment, subscribe, you know, show us some love. We're really close to hitting that 1,000 subscriber mark where we can start making pennies, which would be amazing. But honestly, just getting to do an overview for a channel like Organic Price Books makes me feel like I've already made it. So thank you so much for watching. Please go check this out. Once again, you can use our code Braveboys to save $2, or if you're buying 3 or more books, which I like to do, you can use the code Braveboyssit to save 5%. I want you all to keep reading and stay brave.